Before Can Yaman became the face plastered on billboards across 3 continents, he played a businessman so controlling he couldn't keep a single household employee for more than a few weeks. Today, we're looking at Dolunay, the show where a boss and employee slow burn actually earns every beat of it, instead of coasting purely on chemistry. Let's be honest about the premise here, because it's not exactly original. A rich, uptight, controlling boss and a stubborn, warm-hearted employee end up falling for each other despite every rule standing in their way. This is maybe the single most recycled romance setup across every drama industry on Earth. You've seen this exact shape 100 times, in 100 different settings, and it's fair to walk into a show like this expecting nothing new. So when Dolunay opens with Nazli taking a strict private chef job for the cold, exacting businessman Ferit Aslan, full of rules about which hours she can be in the house, what she's allowed to touch, how precisely his meals need to be prepared, you'd be forgiven for assuming you already know exactly where this is going and exactly how it gets there. The reason this one holds up anyway isn't the premise. It's what the show does with the friction before it lets the romance actually begin. Here's the insight. Dolunay doesn't treat Ferit's control as a cute quirk standing between 2 people who are obviously destined to be together. It treats it as an actual character flaw, a genuine inability to trust people, and it makes Nazlı's presence in his life about survival, not romantic pursuit. Neither character starts this story trying to fall in love. They start it needing the arrangement to simply work for completely practical reasons. That distinction matters because it means the show has to actually earn the shift from professional tension to something real instead of just letting proximity alone do the job. Let's break down how it does that. 1. Both leads are stuck in this arrangement for survival, not chemistry. Nazli is a culinary student who needs a job immediately to help cover rent for the home she shares with her sister and best friend. Ferit needs a private chef who can actually follow his exhausting list of rules after birth. Staff couldn't handle his standards. Neither of them takes this job hoping for romance. They take it because they need it to work. That practical foundation is what keeps the early episodes from feeling like manufactured flirtation. 2. Ferit's control is written as a wound, not a quirk. A lot of controlling boss love interest get written as charmingly difficult with the implication that the right person will simply soften them. Dolunay frames Ferit's rigidity as something rooted in a genuine difficulty trusting anyone, including his own family, rather than as a personality trait that exists purely to be undone by the right woman. That framing gives his eventual softening actual weight because it's tied to something real instead of a genre requirement. 3. The turning point comes from circumstance, not convenient plotting. An accidental night at Ferit's house after Nazli passes out drunk shifts the entire dynamic between them from strictly professional to something far more personal. It's a classic device, but the show uses it as a hinge point rather than a shortcut, letting the fallout from that morning ripple through their relationship instead of resetting to normal by the next episode. 4. Nazli gets a real choice, not just a foregone conclusion. The show introduces Deniz as a genuine alternative for Nazli, which means her eventual choice between him and Ferit is presented as an actual decision, not just a formality the plot rushes past on the way to the obvious pairing. Giving her real agency here is what keeps her from becoming a passive prize being fought over, instead of a person actually choosing. 5. The antagonists give the back half of the show real stakes beyond the romance. Demet and Hakan Önder act as the show's antagonists, escalating the narrative by targeting legal custody of Ferit's orphaned nephew Bulut to grab company shares. This is the same structural move we've talked about on other shows on this channel. A central romance needs a second engine to sustain a full run, and Dolunay leans on corporate and custody schemes to keep the momentum going once the initial workplace tension starts to resolve. If you like tracking how different countries handle the exact same overused trope in genuinely different ways, that's what this channel is for. Subscribe. Because next up, we're heading back to classic Indian television for Sapno Sebhar Naina, another story about someone fighting to find where they belong, just with a completely different set of obstacles. So here's what I want to know. Between Ferit's trust issues here and the obsessive control we saw from Emir back in our Kara Sevda breakdown, which version of the powerful man standing